The ornate doors of the Oval Office did little to muffle the simmering tension within. On this particular morning, the air was thick with uncertainty, and the usual bustle of staffers had given way to a heavy, uneasy silence. The world outside seemed to hold its breath, waiting for the next move from the heart of American power. It was the first day of October, 2025, and the United States government had just ground to a halt. Offices were shuttered, monuments stood deserted, and the city's pulse had slowed to a crawl. The shutdown was more than a political standoff. It was a signal that something deeper was amiss. But for President Donald Trump, a different, more personal affront was brewing. The government's paralysis was only the backdrop to a crisis that struck at the core of his presidency and his pride. A freshly printed report lay on the Resolute desk, its pages heavy with data and warnings. It detailed a crisis quietly escalating for months, one that had slipped beneath the radar of most Americans, but now demanded immediate attention. The numbers told a story of empty airline seats and vacant hotel rooms, stemming from an unexpected source, Canada. The impact was visible in every corner of the travel industry, from bustling airports now eerily quiet, to hotels struggling to fill their lobbies. The friendly neighbor to the north had effectively built a wall of its own, with cancelled flights and redirected vacation plans. Canadian travelers, once a reliable presence in American cities, had vanished almost overnight, leaving a void that no domestic tourism could fill. The report detailed a multi-billion-dollar hole in the American tourism economy, a direct consequence of the Great Canadian Boycott. Theme parks, museums, and restaurants that once thrived on international visitors now faced an uncertain future. Millions of Canadians were making a conscious choice to spend their money elsewhere. Instead of flocking to Florida beaches or New York's bright lights, they explored their own country or traveled to destinations beyond America's borders, sending a clear message with every dollar spent. The president, known for his focus on big deals, was now confronted with the consequences of 1,000 small cuts. Each lost tourist, each canceled trip, was a reminder that even the most powerful office in the world could not control the choices of millions. The report on his desk wasn't just about lost revenue. It was a stark symbol of fractured relations. It was a wake-up call that alliances once taken for granted could unravel in unexpected ways, and that the cost of division could be measured not just in dollars, but in trust lost and opportunities missed. The Canadian decision to shun American destinations is not a sudden whim, but the culmination of mounting frustrations. For months, Canadians have been on the receiving end of what they perceive as hostile rhetoric and punitive policies. President Trump's repeated threats to annex Canada were received as a profound insult to Canadian sovereignty. Adding fuel to the fire are concrete policy changes that have made crossing the border a more intimidating prospect. The unfavorable exchange rate makes American vacations significantly more expensive. Ultimately, the boycott is a matter of principle for a growing number of Canadians. They are choosing to spend their hard-earned dollars in places where they feel genuinely valued. The statistics paint a stark picture of the Canadian travel boycott's impact. According to the latest data, overall Canadian visits to the United States were down a staggering 25%. The trend has been consistent and worsening throughout the year. The drop is particularly pronounced in land travel, historically a cornerstone of cross-border tourism. In July, the number of cars crossing from Canada into the United States plummeted by 37%. Air travel, a key indicator of higher-spending tourists, has been hit just as hard. Year-over-year air bookings from Canada to the United States fell by 26%. The financial consequences of this travel drought are immense. The United States tourism sector is now projected to lose up to $29 billion. The absence of Canadian tourists is creating a massive economic void. For major United States airlines, the once lucrative Canadian market has turned into a source of significant financial turbulence. What was once a reliable stream of passengers and revenue has now become a major source of uncertainty and loss, as the effects of the boycott ripple through the industry. With air bookings from Canada projected to be down by as much as 43%, airlines face flying half-empty planes. The sharp decline in demand has left many flights operating well below capacity, forcing carriers to grapple with mounting operational costs and dwindling ticket sales. The financial strain is forcing airlines to make difficult decisions. Many are now evaluating whether to cut routes, lay off staff, or even ground certain aircraft to stem the losses. The uncertainty is creating anxiety not just for executives, but for thousands of employees whose jobs may be at risk. Executives are reassessing flight schedules, considering reducing the frequency of flights to major Canadian cities. Some routes that were once daily may now see only a few flights per week, if any at all, as airlines try to match supply with the new, lower demand. The impact extends beyond just ticket sales. Airports, ground crews, and local businesses that depend on steady passenger traffic are also feeling the pinch, as fewer travelers mean less activity and reduced income for everyone involved. Airlines generate substantial ancillary revenue from services like baggage fees, seat upgrades, and in-flight purchases, all of which evaporate when a passenger chooses not to fly. The loss of these extra sources of income only deepens the financial blow. The boycott disrupts the complex hub-and-spoke systems that United States Airlines depend on. Fewer Canadian passengers means fewer connections, which can have a domino effect, reducing traffic on other routes and impacting the entire network. In response, airline executives are lobbying government officials to find a diplomatic solution. They are urging policymakers to resolve the dispute quickly, warning that prolonged tensions could have lasting consequences for the industry and the broader economy. Until the diplomatic chill between Washington and Ottawa thaws, United States Airlines will continue to navigate this severe turbulence, facing an uncertain future as they wait for skies to clear and passengers to return. The economic pain inflicted by the Canadian boycott is felt acutely in American cities. The once bustling streets now echo with silence, and the vibrant energy that characterized these urban centers has dimmed significantly. These cities, which have long catered to northern visitors, are now grappling with a stark reality. Restaurants that once thrived on the patronage of Canadian tourists are now struggling to stay open. Las Vegas, a glittering oasis in the desert, welcomed about 1.4 million Canadians in 2024. The city's economy heavily relies on tourism, and the absence of these visitors is palpable. Now, the city's famous Strip feels the absence. The once crowded sidewalks and bustling casinos are eerily quiet, and the vibrant nightlife has taken a hit. Hotel occupancy rates are down, and casino floors are less crowded. The economic impact is not just limited to the casinos, but extends to the entire hospitality sector. The loss is so significant that the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority sent a delegation to Vancouver to woo travelers back. They are pulling out all the stops to revive the influx of Canadian tourists. In Florida, Canadians have historically been the largest group of international visitors. The sunny beaches and warm climate have always been a major draw for them. Now, a survey reveals that 54% of Canadians who own U.S. property are considering selling within a year. This potential exodus could have long-term repercussions on the local real estate market. Even Hawaii hasn't been immune, with Canadian arrivals falling by 9.4%. The islands, known for their paradise-like appeal, are feeling the economic strain. From large-scale resorts in Las Vegas to small-town diners, the absence of Canadians is leaving a tangible economic void. The ripple effects are being felt across various sectors, highlighting the interconnectedness of our economies. As Canadians turn their backs on the United States, they're redirecting their travel spending to other international destinations. This shift has created a boom for tourism sectors in Mexico, the Caribbean, and Europe. Airlines and tour operators report a surge in bookings to sun destinations like Cancun and Punta Cana. Europe, with a friendlier political climate, is seeing a notable uptick in Canadian visitors. The shift is forcing Canadian airlines to adjust their routes, adding more transatlantic flights. The same Canadians selling their properties in Arizona and Florida are looking to reinvest elsewhere. This redirection of capital represents a long-term loss for the U.S. travel influencers, and media are actively encouraging this global pivot. While the travel boycott creates economic headaches for the United States, It's sparking a boom within Canada's borders. Canadians are rediscovering their own country, leading to a surge in spending that's revitalizing local economies. The Tourism Industry Association of Canada projects domestic visitor spending will reach nearly $104 billion. This staycation trend is providing a massive stimulus for Canadian hotels, restaurants, and attractions. The boycott has strengthened the position of Canadian travel companies. Airlines like WestJet and Air Canada are capitalizing on the moment. This economic upswing is reinforcing the national mood. The silver lining of the political chill is a golden age for Canada's domestic economy. Faced with mounting financial losses, American cities and states are launching charm offensives to win back Canadian clientele. California has rolled out a California Loves Canada campaign, offering discounts for Canadian visitors. In Palm Springs, heart-shaped banners featuring the Canadian flag are displayed downtown. However, many Canadians view these gestures as too little, too late. The core issues driving the boycott are political, not promotional. Until there is a fundamental shift in the diplomatic relationship, these efforts are likely to fall on deaf ears. As 2025 draws to a close, North America stands economically and emotionally divided. The Canadian travel boycott has evolved into a powerful economic weapon. In the United States, the Trump administration faces a difficult choice: either double down or offer a diplomatic olive branch. For Canada, the boycott has fostered a powerful sense of national unity. The path to reconciliation appears long and fraught with obstacles. A genuine thaw would require more than the end of hostile rhetoric. The tourism industries in both countries remain in a state of limbo. Ultimately, the Great Canadian Boycott of 2025 will be remembered as a turning point. The empty airline seats and quiet hotel lobbies are a testament to the importance of respect and goodwill. The future of the US-Canada relationship hinges on rebuilding broken trust.